Welcome into High Top Sports Network. Joining me today for a preseason look ahead is Armstrong quarterback Cadin Olsen. Cadin, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Cadin, before I go any further, I just said off the air that I had to get something off kind of my chest, I guess. And, besides being the player, because here's the thing about high school athletes, I think sometimes we just view them in the scope of just being athletes. But you're also a person, you're a student, there's a life outside of football. And a part of that life for you is you're very conscientious, you're a very nice young man, you're very respectful. And, that's one thing about you that I don't ever want to get lost when people watch this interview or hear anything about you in a story or whatever it may be. That not only is that kid with the cannon right arm one heck of a quarterback, but he's also one heck of a young man too. So credit to you, credit to your parents. There's not one thing I can say about you, man, that isn't of the highest regard.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. I try my best, try to be a good role model for my younger siblings, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. So thank you. I really appreciate hearing that.
Absolutely. Thank you. So getting right into it, Cadin, you just got off practice, you mentioned a moment ago. How are the practices going so far? I'm sure there's a little bit of change from last year, so kind of describe that briefly and tell me just how things are going so far here in the preseason practices.
Yeah, they're going pretty well. We've been in the weight room all spring, during the last semester of school, so we've been definitely getting stronger. We're still keeping up with our lifts every day before and after practice, so that's always a good thing. Coach Morris, Coach Fabian, they're really big on lifting. So I think that will definitely help us this season. We play some big games, we play some big teams. We have Aliquippa, North Catholic, some bigger schools like that. So I think it'll be a fun season, and with all the work that we've put in over the summer and then obviously back into the spring, I think it'll pay off this season. We'll have a pretty good year.
You mentioned the work in the summer, the things and the moments and the reps taken when no one's kind of looking. How has this year differed maybe from the last 2 years going into a season in which you're starting? Is there any major changes for you, anything you've noticed about this offseason in particular that's a little different than the last few?
I don't think so. Obviously having the recruiting off my chest, I feel like that's kind of a reliever for me. Just going into the season on a clean slate, and I just figure it's my last season, my senior year. I have nothing to lose, so I'm just gonna go out there, have fun every Friday night, and hopefully make it as far as in the playoffs as we can.
We'll talk a little bit more about that recruiting here in a moment, but I still kind of want to cover a couple things in the kind of here and now. Talk about the personnel. Obviously, I think high school and college more so than maybe the pros or any other level of football that is common to the viewer and the fan of football. There's a lot of turnover. You'll maybe have a different receiving core, different pass catchers than the year prior. Talk about this current group. Certainly some returning guys, but certainly some departures as well. So tell me about this group of receivers that you'll be throwing the ball to this year.
Yeah, we've put in obviously a lot of work. We have two returning starters, Jack Balasek and Isaiah Brown, who were pretty good for us last year. We did lose a couple receivers that were seniors, and they helped us make some big plays last year. But I think we also have some sophomores this year that are really going to step up. Obviously, you have my brother, Ian, and then we have a few other sophomores like Kyan Klein, Joe, and Chase. So I think they'll really help us this year. We have a running back, and then our line, they're pretty young. So I think them getting the experience early on will really help them. We played Valley week 1, have a scrimmage against Butler before that. So I think those 2 games will really help us get some experience for the younger kids and really show them what varsity is like, because I feel like compared to JV, varsity is a whole different level. So we just got to be ready to play every week and make sure we're preparing in and out.
Almost how they describe AAA. When you go from AAA to the major leagues, it's that kind of step up. It's a major leap as compared to maybe AA to AAA, and kind of how you're speaking of junior varsity to varsity. What about yourself, Cadin? We're talking about the receivers, but what have you noticed in yourself maybe that's a little different than the years past? Maybe your arm strength, something that you're noticing in your abilities that you think is a little bit stronger maybe than you'd seen from yourself last year or the year prior?
Yeah, I really think over this offseason, my arm strength has increased quite a bit, and then my accuracy and consistency, I think, are two pretty big things that I've been focusing on. I've kind of been hurt a little bit this offseason, so I haven't gotten to do too much, but with what I've done and with the receivers and all the workouts that we've had, I think I've really improved on my consistency and accuracy. So I'm looking forward to this year, and hopefully we have a pretty good season.
Would you say those are the things that you just mentioned, your accuracy and your consistency? Are those the things that you really pride yourself on, maybe this particular offseason to improve, or those kind of keys within yourself that you wanted to improve?
I think it was a little bit of both. Obviously, I wanted to improve my footwork a little bit, and I think I did that as well. I was dealing with an ankle injury early on in the spring, so it was a little bit tough to do that, but I just worked with what I had. I mean, I just put in all the work I could, went to some work, was working out a little bit. Every once in a while, just basically not overdoing it, but getting as much done as I could and improving myself as much as I could.
One thing, you're one heck of an athlete. You're not just a terrific football player. I actually asked your dad the other day, I'm like, for as much talk there is about Cadin and football, I think if you weren't such a noteworthy football player, there'd be even more talk about you as a basketball player. To that real quickly, obviously this is going to be your last year for basketball too. Is it going to be a little strange for you not to have that be a part of your regimen anymore once the year's over?
Yeah, I think so. I've played basketball since I was really little, so I think that'll definitely be a change going forward. But also, I'm excited for that. Right now, my focus is football, but once basketball season rolls around, then I'm pretty focused on basketball, and hopefully we have a really good season there. I think quite a bit of us return this year, so I'm really looking forward to it, and just getting the chemistry down and things like that.
You've been a pretty staunch proponent, or sort of rather a supporter of playing multiple sports in a day and age where people are specializing more often than not. How does basketball and maybe your other athletic endeavors help you on the football field?
Yeah, I think playing playing multiple sports is definitely really important. Playing basketball helps me in a bunch of different ways, whether it's with my footwork, just something as simple as that, with post moves, or some hand-eye coordination, just simple things like that maybe you wouldn't think about. I think the transition between multiple sports is a really good benefit, and then also helps with strength. We're in the weight room for basketball as well, so I'm always keeping up on my lifts and things like that. So I definitely think playing multiple sports is a good thing, and I encourage people to do it because I feel like it has helped me a lot.
Couldn't agree more, but I will say not too many people that can excel at multiple sports quite like you have here the last few years. Obviously, all-state player, led the Whippeal in passing, and then also several accolades on the basketball court as well. But back to the football again here, Cadin. As far as the X's and O's go this year, is there anything that the person that's been watching Armstrong football for the last few years might notice different about what you guys are going to do out there on Friday nights this year than the last few? Are there any new wrinkles? Anything you don't have to tell us? I'm sure Coach wouldn't want you coming on the air and giving away all the secrets. But could we expect maybe some different things thrown in there that? Because we know you guys like your gadget plays. There are plenty of those. But are there going to be wrinkles that maybe even someone like myself who watched pretty much every game of yours last year would be surprised to see?
Yeah, I think there will be. Coach Fabian, he's an awesome coach, very offensive minded. So I think throughout the season, he'll definitely improve where we need to and implement some more things. So with his creativity on the football field, I'm sure you'll see many types of plays and things tricks he has up his sleeve. So I think it'll be fun, and I think it'll be cool to watch as well.
Yeah, it's one thing to put those in the playbook. It's another to be able to execute them, especially with high school kids. Some of those plays, those double reverse flea flickers and things of the sort that were common last year. You guys not only had them in your pocket, but you were able to execute them quite well a lot of times. So it's a fun brand of football to watch, certainly. Another question too, Cadin, kind of taking a couple steps back to your injury. Last year you really improved, or not improved, but it seems as though your game evolved and allowed you to become a runner a little bit more. I don't know if that was by design, your suggestion, or how that really came about, but you certainly added that layer to your game, and you did so quite well. I'm not sure a lot of people realized how good of a runner Cadin Olsen was until, don't look now, but there he is, breaking off a 30-yard run and trucking somebody at the end. So talk about that, a part of your game, and now kind of incurring that injury and knowing that there's a lot more football in your future after this year. Are we still going to see Cadin Olsen, the guy trucking somebody at midfield after a 30-yard run?
I think you'll probably see a couple of those this year. Coach Fabian, like I said, he's an awesome coach, and I think every year he's kind of given me a little bit more freedom to the offense, kind of let me call certain things, check certain things when I see what the defense is giving us. So I think that helped me a little bit last year, maybe make some plays on my feet. Alex Pat, obviously a really good running back, so being able to have two runners in the backfield always helps as well, because that kind of eliminates the player from the defense just by reading them or things like that. So I definitely think you'll see some runs this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Tall guys like us, people don't think we're fast, Cadin, but the secret is we got those long strides. So it's would you rather be quick or would you rather have 7-foot-long strides? And I'm going to go with the second one if I'm going to pick one.
Yeah, I agree. I know, even if I'm not the fastest, I feel like if it's 4th and 1 and we need a yard, I feel like I'll be able to get the yard. Just things like that, in football, always help. So I'd have to agree with you on that one.
Now we're going to kind of shift into what you brought up a little bit ago, the recruiting process, and you kind of mentioned the weight that was lifted once that process concluded. Obviously, you're going to be going to the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school in Philadelphia. Quite familiar with it. My sister actually worked there a while back. Very great institution. You don't just get in there if you have a rocket right arm. You got to have something between the ears as well. So that, again, saying a lot about Cadin Olsen, the person, and not just the football player. So tell me about that decision. Of course, we discussed it, right after it happened a little bit, but, share your sort of how that process took place and how you landed on Philadelphia. You're not going to be an Eagles fan, though, right?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
So, yeah. So, I've been talking with some of their coaches for a while now, and then I also went out to a camp this summer, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere out there. I think that was one of the big things that kind of helped my decision go towards them, I guess. And also, the coaching staff, like I said, they were great. The quarterback coach, to bring in a new one this year, Coach Dan Swanstrom, who has previously been there, and he did really well. So between the atmosphere of the campus and just how it felt like home, and then with the coaching staff and things like that, I think those were two major parts in my decision. Coach Swanstrom from previous years, he has proved himself and definitely knows how to win. I think last time he was at Penn, the quarterback that he coached ended up in the NFL for a couple of years, so he knows what he's doing. He runs a really good offense similar to ours, which I'm really excited about. And then obviously on the academic side, they have awesome academics, and I felt like with that opportunity, it would just be hard to turn down an education like that. So that was a couple of things went into my decision, and I feel like Penn was the best fit for me.
Quickly, where are you ranked in your class right now, Cadin?
I think at the end of my junior year, I was 4th.
4th. To match the jersey number, are you doing that on purpose? You're trying to sit around 4 just so you can match the jersey number. Is that what's going on?
I don't know. I think it just worked out.
You meant, okay, with the decision being out of the way now, even well before these sort of big practices, the important practices before the season starts, you got that out of the way. Was all along when you were thinking about the process, even last year, did you want to make sure that you had a decision by the time the season had started so that it was kind of behind you? Was that something that you always intended on doing, or is that just something that evolved and just happened to be that way?
I don't think I was really planning on that happening. I think everything just kind of fell into place the way it did. Obviously, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and I think everything just happens for a reason. So, last year, I wasn't really expecting to know where I'm going to school at this time, but with the opportunity that Penn gave, I feel like I didn't want to miss out on it, so I decided to fulfill that commitment and attend the University of Pennsylvania.
Armstrong kind of becoming a Ivy League pipeline these days. It's interesting. It's every 4 or 6 years, whatever it's going to be now. I'm trying to look at the kids kind of younger than you, wondering who's going to be the next Ivy Leaguer at this rate. It's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, it's cool. I've talked to Zane a couple times. Obviously, he went to Yale, which Yale fans and Penn fans probably aren't really each other. But, it's been cool. He's shown me some things throughout the process, got me in touch with a few people. So it's been fun, and I'm looking to see where these kids go. Like my teammates that are younger than me, I'm looking forward to see what they do in the next few years, even after I graduate. So I'm really excited, and I can't wait to see what happens.
What's the main goal this year? You've done a lot already. You helped the school to its first ever playoff victory last season. You led the Whipple in passing yards. What is the goal? What's left for Cadin Olsen?
Personally, I just want to have an awesome season. Obviously, make the playoffs and win first round of the playoffs. So just like we did last year, but even go further this year. We played McKeesport, very good McKeesport team twice last year, and I felt like we were just a few plays away from those games. When we played at our place in week 2, we had the lead going into halftime, and then we just couldn't finish it out in the second half and lost a close one there. And then in the second round of the playoffs last year, we gave up some big plays, and I think if we eliminate a few mistakes, I think that's a different game. So this year, I think we're just going to take it week by week and make sure we're focused, watching film, going hard every day in practice, and hopefully have a better season than last year.
Man, it's a great interview answer right there, because you kind of stole my final question. I was going to say Armstrong can achieve your goal, which is winning another playoff game and you kind of said eliminate mistakes. So is that really it? Just sort of playing smarter on the field and kind of limiting the mistakes? Is that the biggest key, would you say, in order for this team? And that kind of suggests that you back the talent. You believe the talent's there to do so. Is that kind of a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think it is. We do have some young players coming and a few players playing for different positions this year, but we've had probably 5 or 6 7-on-7s with skilled players, and then a few lineman challenges as well. So with where we're at right now, and then with camp coming up, obviously we have a lot of work to do, but I think the talent is definitely there. It's just going to be how hard we go in practice and the amount of mistakes we had this year. So I think if we can limit those and turnovers, I think we'll have a really good season.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck, Cadin. We know you're going to be slinging it as always, and probably still trucking guys somewhere at midfield after a 30-yard run.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
Well, thank you for making the time, Cadin. Best of luck again. Best of luck to your teammates, Coach Fabian, and the rest of the staff and players at Armstrong. And again, we'll be seeing you here soon on High Top Sports.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, that was Cadin Olsen, Armstrong Riverhawks quarterback, here on this preseason interview as we're nearing the end of summer and the beginning of fall, and the football lights will be kicking on Fridays, and Cadin and the Riverhawks will begin the football season at Valley in week 0. That'll do it for me, Joe Rhodes. We'll see you next time here on High Top Sports Network.